Welcome to Sportsource. I'm your host, Michael Feinberg. We begin with some former Georgia baseball players. As MLB's opening day approaches, former baseball players Brian Curley and Henry Hunter are competing in their first full seasons as professionals.
That's right, Charlie. The streets of Athens were swarmed with runners once again this weekend, but it almost didn't happen. An ice storm that was supposed to sweep through the South on the day of the race put the entire event in question.
For Georgia athletes, the work doesn't stop when practice ends. Recovery, specifically through nutrition, has become a key part of how athletes rebuild, refuel, and get ready to compete.
Georgia does lose Christian Miller to the NFL draft, but this is still a group with a lot of depth and talent. A guy to watch is Xavier McLeod. He's been consistent, played in every game last season for the Dogs, and brings some veteran leadership to the front. When you look at this matchup, the numbers back it up. The Jefferson Dragons are averaging 4 goals per game, and they've built their identity around high-pressure transition offense. They score easy, they score in bunches, and they're comfortable protecting a lead.
One and roll red music. And
before every big play you see on TV, there's a team behind the scenes that you don't see.
Push.
Inside the control room, every second matters, and there's no room for error. We spoke with Evan Wall, a broadcast engineer here at the University of Georgia, about the pressure behind the scenes.
I feel like that's one of the things that I love about this job is that it is such a high stakes environment. And I mean, it's really not built for everybody. In the fact that I love, it's more fun to me when the pressure is highest. Really the main thing is just trying to figure out whatever we can do to try and get through the show. So we do a lot of planning to try and be ready beforehand. That way, if anything does go wrong, we have things that we can swap to, whether it's extra cabling over at the venue or different protocols over here in case anything goes wrong. But the main thing, if something does happen, is just try and figure out whatever we can do to get the show back up and going as soon as possible.
The technical director punches the buttons, bringing the director's visions to life. Graphics operators build scoreboards and stack graphics. Replay operators clip and roll back the biggest moments. Audio mixes every sound you hear, while video shaders make sure every shot looks sharp. And that's just inside the control room. Out at the venue, camera operators, commentators, and utilities are working together to bring the game to the screen. If something goes wrong, there's no timeout. The crew has to adjust on the fly. Mistakes can happen, but it's how they respond that matters, and it's the director's job to call it all in real time.
Animate music.
We spoke with Beth Ann Neblett, a producer of broadcast operations here at the university. She's also a director, which means she's responsible for making split-second decisions that shape how the game is seen.
I think that's probably the hardest part of directing, actually, because it's a lot of balancing your instinct versus what your producer is telling you to do. I think you'll see a lot of situations where high emotion is where directors want to stay live, and big plays is where producers want to replay. So you're always trying to balance and call off the producer and say, there's too much emotion, I need to capture it, and you want to stay longer than the producer does. So just kind of having that conversation with the producer and knowing when you've captured enough emotion to then show the replay and then come back and tell the story as best you can.
Every decision happens in real time, with multiple people working simultaneously in perfect unity. The fans watch the game, and the crew makes sure that you never miss it. Reporting for the Carmichael Sports Media Institute, I'm Michael Feinberg.